Jackie Patterson is here now with the NAACP Environment and Climate Justice Program. You are the director. Thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
Talk to me a little bit about the closing session.
Yeah, so I'm excited to bring together several women who are doing awesome work around climate justice on the front lines, really community-based leaders. Rosemary from Alaska and Kimberly from south side of Chicago, Queen Ket from St. Helena Island in South Carolina, and Vivian Huang, who is with the Asian Pacific Environmental Network in California, out of Oakland. So they'll be talking about their work on the front lines. They'll be talking about challenges they face. They'll be talking about victories that they've enjoyed, and then the way forward in terms of how do we really push for climate justice, particularly in a landscape where there's resistance against even the existence of climate change. So,
and the different challenges that each face as you come together, I think they can learn from one another.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm looking forward to a very synergistic conversation. Yeah.
I want to talk about a couple terms that we've brought up here: environmental racism, environmental justice, and climate justice.
Yes.
How are they connected, but how are they unique?
Yes, thank you. So with environmental justice, I'll start there because that's probably the oldest term, and in some ways it's been traditionally defined as the uneven distribution of negative impacts and benefits across communities. So certain communities who are disproportionately impacted by environmental injustice, basically whether it's being on the front lines of the impacts of oil refineries or coal-fired power plants or landfills, and then who aren't also having equal access to the benefits of environment, whether it's parks and spaces or even funding for environmental improvements and so forth. So that's kind of a traditional way that it's been defined, in a way that is defined within governmental structures like the EPA and so forth. And environmental racism specifically speaks to the fact that the communities of color tend to be more subject to environmental injustice, even above and beyond racial status.
What do you think that the public health community can really do to address environmental justice, or really try to fix the environmental injustice that is occurring?
Yeah. So first, the public health community really needs to take an explicit anti-oppression frame in order for us to look at these, because we can't really just kind of make things better for people who are poor or better for people who are. We have to eliminate those root vulnerabilities that make people more subject to the impacts of climate change, the impact of environmental injustice. And so in order to do that, as we talk about health in all things, we need to be cognizant that social determinants of health are pervasive, and one of the key social determinants of health is oppression in its different forms, whether it's gender oppression, LGBTQ oppression, racial oppression, income oppression, and so forth. So explicitly, though, the public health community needs to take an anti-oppression frame and make sure that all the work that we're doing explicitly has an anti-oppression aim in its work and measures.
One of the biggest challenges right now is that lack of federal support. So how do we push forth environmental justice and have it progress with the lack of those critical funds?
Yeah, so a couple of things. One is, I think in these times, one of our key strategies, and a lot of folks who are doing this work are creating 1,000 points of light, like really working at the community level, working at the municipal level, making changes on those levels, and then also working at the state level where there's political viability around that, and seeing those gains at those levels actually help to have a more informed electorate when the new election cycles come through. So we really start there while keeping up the resistance and keeping up. For example, in a couple of weeks they'll be having the Clean Power Plan hearings in Charleston, West Virginia. So even as we continue to fight the good fight at the local level, pushing for clean air ordinances, pushing states to be involved and pushing for clean energy, we're still going to be there at that federal hearing around a federal policy to say, okay, we need to be pushing forward on the Clean Power Plan. So it's more of a shift in maybe proportion of energy, but keeping the work going on all fronts.
Begin the discussion and have it grow. Jackie Patterson,
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.